Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen and channel. So today I'm going to show you how I make my raisin cinnamon bagel, and these are all the ingredients here. I have my warm water, which my yeast is going to be going in to that, together with some brown sugar to bloom, and I have my flour in the back here. I have the rest of my ingredients. I have my raisins, I have my cinnamon powder, salt, the 1 egg is for the egg wash. I have here molasses, which is going to be going into the water to boil that bagel, and I have some brown sugar. Some vanilla essence will be going into that, and that's for the raisin cinnamon bagel. Also on this side here, I will be doing everything bagel. This is my everything bagel seasoning or toppings that will be going on top. You can make it plain, a plain bagel if you want. I have my warm water, which my yeast and my brown sugar is going to be going in to bloom or to get foamy and double in size, and then we're going to start to work with the flour, the dry ingredients. I have my flour, I have my sugar, I have honey, which is going to be going in into the water to boil that bagel, my egg for my egg wash in the end, and well, my brown sugar. I'll be using some allspice essence to this, and let's get started. So firstly, for our everything bagel or plain bagel, we're going to be adding some brown sugar to our warm water. Give that a mix or a stir together with your yeast. Give that a mix, and this is going to be covered and left for a couple minutes, just until it's foamy and bubbly and forms that big foam, and it's going to raise and double. So I'm going to cover it. So cover it with a see-through plate so that you can keep an eye on it and see it when it starts to double. I'll show you guys. And the same will go for the raisin cinnamon bagel. We have to bloom our yeast first. This is the brown sugar in the warm water. Give that a stir or a mix. Let that sugar dissolve out. And then we will add our yeast to the water. Give that a mix. And the same will go for it. We're going to cover it, let it poof up or foam up, and then we'll get started in mixing our two bagels together. So let's get started. See how that yeast has been activated and it's all foamy and nice. So let's get putting this bagel dough together. So I have here my flour, my salt, my brown sugar. Give that a mix. And you can use whichever essence you want. It depends on the flavor you like. So I'm going to use the allspice one in the raisin cinnamon, and I'm going to use the regular vanilla one in the dough here. So first of all, we're going to add our foamy yeast mixture, and this is going to knead our dough. Some essence will go in. This is cheap vanilla essence, and we're going to knead our dough with this yeast liquid. And that essence smells really nice here together with the yeast mixture. So let me get mixing up the dough, and I'll show you what it looks like. So now that all our yeast liquid has been used up, you're just going to have a little extra warm water at the side just to pull that dough together. All the measurements will be in the description box. And as I said, you can use how much of that essence you like. It all depends on your flavor. Clean out all the sides of your bowl. Another tip is always have that extra flour at the side, so it can help you with the dough, to pull that dough together. you have a stand mixer, you can use your dough hooks to do this. This is what you're looking for when that dough forms, and you can be able to pick it up without it sticking to your hands or to the bowl. So we're just gonna cover this and let it rest for like 10 minutes just for it to set, and I'll show you the rest. In the meantime, let me mix the raisin cinnamon one and show you guys. So this would be the raisin cinnamon bagel. I'm going to show you guys how it's mixed. When I am forming our bagel into that bagel shape and putting it to boil, I will explain a little bit about why I like bagel and what memories it brings back for me. But in the meantime, let's mix the doughs. I have here the flour, I have salt, brown sugar, and my allspice essence, flavor essence by Chief brand, or you can use the vanilla essence. Both are really nice. They have really nice flavors. Now this one might be on the stronger side than the regular vanilla, so it all depends again on how much of that flavor you like, because this one, it has I will give you an idea what it has. This is what it has. It has the let me see, it has a lot of spices in it. It's also alcohol free, so it has like a stronger scent to the vanilla essence. So it all depends on how strong you want that flavor in it. So I'm going to mix this, and while I'm mixing it, I will smell, it will give out that aroma, so I will know if I need to add more. So as you can see, the yeast mixture again, it's very foamy, it has activated. So we will pour our yeast mixture into our flour mixture. And here is where we will give this a mix. Now if you have a stand mixer, you can go ahead and add it in. And before we mix it out, the raisins need to go in. But before I add in my raisins, I will add my cinnamon powder to it and add a little bit of that flour. Now we can do this over the bowl. We don't need to do this and let it sit. You can do it while you're kneading that dough. And this is just to flavor up that raisin with that cinnamon powder. So when you get that bite to it, you will taste that cinnamon and that raisin. So I just want to move out those balls. And here is where we will continue just to give this a mix for the raisins to coat back with the flour. And I always have an extra bowl with water, so let me get that. Right, now that I have my little bit of water here, I can smell the scent of the vanilla in here. So I'm going to leave it like that. Also the cinnamon is giving it out a nice aroma as well too. So let's get this dough kneaded. And when we're boiling it, a little bit of molasses will go into that water to flavor up the water. So let me get this into that dough and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So the dough has come together a little bit. It's still a little on the dry side. So what I'll do is, I have here my last ingredients for it. You're going to add a little bit of that molasses water. Don't worry, it's not going to waste. It is going to go in the water. And you're going to take the back of your knuckles and punch it down with your knuckles. This is just to give it that little slight brownish color. If you do not like the molasses taste, you can use honey and have a little bit of dry flour to the side where you can put at the bottom of the bowl, because bagel is something, it's a little bit different from bread or bake or buns. We don't put oil or butter in this because we want that nice chewy consistency or chewy bite to the bagel when we're eating it. We don't want a bread texture to bagel. We want it like an authentic bagel. Clean off the sides of your bowl and turn it over. Just put a little dust of flour at the bottom of the bowl, just for it not to stick. And that's your raisin cinnamon dough. We're going to cover this and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes as well too, and then I'll show you guys the next steps into the bagel. So this is our dough for our everything bagel, or you can make it into a plain bagel as I said, without any toppings to the top. So I have lined 2 of my pizza trays with parchment paper. So let's focus on shaping the bagel doughs, and we'll do anything after that. You see how it has doubled in size? So we're going to take off the plastic wrap and we're going to gently punch it down just for that air pocket to come out from it to let out that gases. And as I said, have some flour at the side where we can use from just to coat our hands. So this is just releasing all those gases that the gas made. Add some flour, put it to the side just to get off your dough from the side of the bowl. Now this was 4 cups of flour, so we're just going to give it a slight knead again. See all that gases when it's releasing, all that air pockets. That is what you're looking for actually. That will give you a nice bagel and you know your dough did what it's supposed to do. So now on my counter surface, we're going to put the dough and we're going to divide this into 8 little balls, dough balls, bagel dough balls. And I'm going to divide it in half first. And we're going to make 2 doughs with them. Just dust the surface of the bottom sticky part of the dough. Squeeze it and pinch it. Form it back into that circle. So we'll cut this and get 4, and we'll cut this and get 4. Now it all depends on the sizes of bagel you want. If you don't want a too big bagel, like normal size bagels, you can do them smaller. It's up to you. You can get 9 out of it. But I'm doing it to the size of the authentic bagels. So now we will divide them into 4. So you're going to cut this. And each piece, we're going to cut in half. And we're just going to form it into that dough, that one little dough ball. And this will be one bagel. Dust it with your flour. We're just going to set it aside. Dust your surface. So all our bagel doughs is finished. Now to get them into the shape of the bagels, you're going to slightly flour your fingertips, and we're going to poke a hole in the center of our bagel straight through. And what we're going to do is make sure your finger is floured properly. You're going to stretch it. You're going to put your 2 index finger inside there and stretch it as you go along. We're looking for like a 2-inch hole, but stretch it while you're doing it. And then we're going to rest it back on the floured surface. And we're going to continue the rest. And make sure and leave your spaces where, because it's going to swell back, it's going to double back and raise back. So you want to leave it where it will get enough room to still have that space. Whenever it's raising back and you see that space, that hole is closing in, what I want you to do for me is you're going to get something with like a stick or something and just put it back in the middle and just open it back a little bit, right? If that doesn't work for you, put the back of your finger in there and just stretch it back out. We want that bagel to remain with that space. So let me do the rest and then I'll show you the next step. We don't need any cookie cutter or anything to make that hole. We just need to stretch it out to that motion, that circular motion, and continue. Keep doing that and you will form your bagels. And when this goes into that water to boil, this one is going into the honey flavored water, and the raisin cinnamon will be going into the molasses water to flavor it up and to boil. So let me do the rest and I'll show you guys. So we're just going to give it that little couple minutes just to rise back, and then I'll show you the next step. So while our everything bagel or plain bagel is being raised a little bit again, this is what the second dough will look like. Let me take off that plastic wrapper and show you guys how beautiful this dough is. This is what we're looking for. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll show you a little piece. You're going to take some flour, put it to the side of the bowl. Make sure your hands are dusted with that flour. Punch down or press down your raisin cinnamon dough. And we're going to turn it over to the counter surface and cut them out. So we're going to form that bagel dough. Make sure it's dusted with a little flour if it's on the sticky side, because I don't like to handle sticky doughs. And we're going to cut them. So let me zoom up for you guys to see. Any raisins that falls back down or out, just stick them back in. It will stay. Stick them back in. Cut it out. Same thing. We're going to make that dough gentle with this. Try to keep the raisins intact. And we're going to set it down. Have your dry flour available just to pull it back together. Pinch it, squeeze it. It's just like when you're making your sada roti dough or your dal puri dough or whatever dough, you're squeezing it back in. So let me make them out and I'll show you. In the meantime, put your water to hot on the stove, and just before adding the bagel doughs to that water, we will add the honey and the molasses. So let me do all these. So here is where, same process, you're going to stick your index finger, your two index finger, one in front, one behind, and stretch them out, turn them like a wheel, and set them aside. You see the hole is like a 2-inch hole. It's big, but it will close in to the size of your authentic bagels. And ring it like a wheel, set it aside, hold it, and set it aside. Make sure your surface is floured as well too, so when it's time to pick it up, it will be very easy to pick up. So let me do the rest and we'll move on to the next step. This is what your bagel would look like. And now you're going to cover it back with your plastic wrapper. And we're going to start with the everything bagel to actually cook it now, the cooking process on the stove. So let's get started. I'm going to move you guys across to the stove. So here I have 1 pot of water and my other pot of water. In 1 pot, my honey is going to go in. Now if you don't have access to honey, you can use brown sugar to flavor it up. Give this a mix. This is just to flavor up that water. And you're going to have your heat on medium or on low or medium to low. Also, with the honey one, we're going to add a little bit of brown sugar. And to my pot in front, I am going to add my molasses water together with a little bit of brown sugar. Now you can put how much molasses you want or how much honey you want. It all depends on your flavor. And I'm going to start to bring the plain bagels. And it's going to be dropped in. When you drop them in, you're going to take a spoon with some water and just put it on top of it before flipping it. And we're going to flip them. Have your bamboo skewer to flip them. Okay. So let me try this spoon. We're going to gently flip them. And when we take them out, we're going to place them in our trays that has been lined with the parchment paper. Now we just want that water to come up till it's a bubble again. So I'm just going to place that lid over it, just for it to start back to bubble. So let's just move the lid back, and you see that water started back to bubble. So we're going to gently flip this again. Now this process, you have to be a little careful because we do not want to deflate our bagels. This is like, the process is like making dumplings. Just want it to cook. And then we'll take them out. you'll know when it's time for it to come out. Once it feels a little bit on the soft side, just give it a couple seconds again, because it's going to continue to bake in the oven. So I'm going to do the rest of the everything bagel, and I'm going to show you when I'm going to do that raisin cinnamon one. And that's it, guys. Just take it out with your spoon with your hole and place them on your tray. Once you place them back into the pot, just cover it, let it come back to that boil, and remove that cover and take it out, okay? This is your raisin cinnamon one. Place them, flip them. Once it comes back to that temperature of that bubble, take them out, place them in that tray with your parchment paper. So let me do the rest and I'll show you. So it's time to season or dress our bagel. So I'm going to throw out some in a bowl. I don't want to use the holes that we have here because it tends to be a little too big and a lot wastes. So in here I have my egg wash. It's the white of the egg, so egg whites. And we're going to brush the top of our bagels. Now if you don't want to use the egg whites, you can use honey or water. So I'm just going to brush the top of our bagels, and then I'm going to dress them. So I'm just going to show you how it would look. It smells amazing. Now you can put how much you like. Let me show you another way in doing them. You can take back up your bagel when it's cooled and dip the top of it into that egg white. Make sure your hands are dry. And now you can sprinkle that bagel seasoning over the top, and it will go straight into the oven to bake until a nice golden brown crispy color. Let's make some cream cheese to go with that bagel. I have full cream milk, 1 liter. I have my lemon juice and I have my salt. I will also be going to use some whipped cream. So let's move across to the stove to put this simple homemade cream cheese together. I will also be going to use 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of onion powder in my cream cheese to flavor it up. So here we have our milk that has been heating. So now to form or to make our curds or curdles, we will add lemon juice. The lemon juice will help that curdle form, which we are going to use to make our cream cheese. So once you add that lemon juice and you feel like it needs more, you're just going to continue adding 1 tablespoon to get that curdle going and give it that turn. Once that curdle starts to form, or that curds, we're going to take it out and put it over a strainer, let it drain, let all that liquid drip out, because we want to get most of that liquid out. Now if you don't want to use lemon juice, you can use lime juice or you can use vinegar. This here, the amount of milk is 2 liters of milk, which is 8 cups of liquid of milk, and I've added about 6 tablespoons of that lemon juice. And you have to keep stirring it until that curdle starts to form. I'll add the rest of my lemon juice. Give that a turn. It will start to form just now. I'll show you guys. So it started to burst. The milk has started to burst, and this is the curdles that is forming. That is what we're going to use to make our cream cheese. So I'm going to let it keep boiling a little bit, and then we're going to take it out. So this is what we will end up with. This is the curdles or the curds. So I have it over the strainer, and I'm just going to press it to get out some of that liquid off. And then once it dries out and drips off properly, we will continue adding it to our food processor. Let me give you that closer look to it. That is how it would look. So time to make our cream cheese. Our curds into that cream cheese. Here we have our cream cheese. So now I'm going to put it to process. We'll go in some onion powder by Chief, and some garlic powder also by Chief, and I have here some whipped cream. You can use sour cream if you want. I'm just adding in the whipped cream. It will give it a fluffy consistency. I'm going to put this back to process. This is what your cream cheese is going to look like. So this is what your cream cheese is going to look like, your homemade cream cheese. If you want, you can add some chive state to give it that herb flavor. And it was all made by using all these products. So these are the bagels, the everything bagel, and I have my raisin cinnamon bagel. So let me cut it and show you guys. That's the cream cheese. You can eat it with jams or the cream cheese or whatever you choose to eat it with. Let me cut the bagel and show you guys what it would look like. This is what the inside would look like. So I'm going to put some cream cheese on that, and let me cut one of the raisin cinnamon one for you guys so you guys can see it as well. Look at that. So I'm going to put some of my homemade cream cheese, and you can use jam as well too. And that's it, guys. Homemade bagel